Hi, I'm Robert McNeece. I spent 27 years in federal prison, and I'm chatting with Staxx.
And all new at 5, a major organized crime bust. 23 people under arrest now accused of stealing guns and cash.
Today, police revealed 4 organized crime groups are wreaking havoc.
From aggravated robbery to kidnapping, burglary, and more. Let's take a look at this. New pictures from court documents in this case. These are a few of the people who have been charged, and investigators say the money, tens of thousands of dollars, is all stolen.
FBI, open up! Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Robert McNeece.
Didn't even know him. Yeah. So the next day they take me over to this small town jail in Benton County, in Vinton, Iowa. And it's like Mayberry. You know, it's just one hallway and there's jail cell on one side, jail cell on the other side.
Yeah.
And so
like I'm bars.
There, right.
Like bars.
Yeah, with bar. And the lady, this chick was across the hall screaming and yelling, you know. And I'm going, who the fuck is that? And so our little slots were open, you know, we could see each other. And so we started communicating. You know, I've been down 15 years, you know, without a female. Of course I'm going to talk to this female.
First sign of a woman, of course.
You know, of course I'm going to talk to her. And I don't care what anybody says, you know. So I'm, hey, how you doing? You know, talking slick and, you know, all that. And I'm all happy, you know, and, you know, fuck being in. I don't care about being in this jail. I love it, you know. So we bullshitted, and about, I don't know, for like 10 days after that, the feds come like 4:30 in the morning, drag me out. There's like 10 people in this room, and they start screaming at me. We know you got letters from her. We want every one of them, and blah blah. You know what did you guys fucking talk about? And you know, tried to gangster me at 4 in the morning. I fucking went crazy on them. You know, the whole go fuck themselves. You know, went fucking nuts on. So that after, you know, later that day, I called my lawyer up and I said, hey, do you know any of this lady? I just, all I know is her first name is Angie. And he says, Angie. He goes, yeah, you're talking about the gal that's facing the murder? I said, oh, I don't know what she's in there for. I didn't know anything until he told me.
Oh, you didn't talk to her about what she was there for?
I didn't even know her fucking name. I mean, to be honest with you, you know what I mean? I knew her name was Angie. That's all I knew. I didn't even know her last. I was just trying to see some, you know. You know, I didn't care about any of that other shit. So then he tells me the whole story about her, you know, being involved in the murder of these people and killed these kids and tortured the children. It made my stomach churn, you know. And, you know, I mean, instantly I've had nothing but hate and fucking just despised her, you know. But I was like, man, fucking. And so he sent over the investigator, you know. My lawyer has, you know, a private investigator that works for him that came over with a big old stack of manila envelope with all the information about her, you know, like newspaper clippings, court doc, you know, so I could read up.
Did they say that they would give you a deal before you got this information?
No.
Her?
Oh, no. Hell no. No, hell no. Because I never talked to him. I never talked to him. The closest I ever talked to him was when they called me up there at 4 in the morning. You know, and I don't even remember half of what went on because I was still half asleep, you know. So I'm reading everything about it, you know. I mean, he sent me a big old, you know, like big, thick manila envelope about her. I'm thinking, and this is a sick bitch. You know what I mean? I mean, for real, she's a sick bitch. And I'm like, man, fuck. And so, you know, I mean, the lawyer comes like a couple of days later, and I tell him, explain the whole thing and blah, blah, blah. And so I started asking her about, you know, the crime. And she was told, you know, she was just wide open, telling me all sorts of shit, you know. And she was mesmerized by me because that, you know, I'm in Iowa, you know, I'm an Iowa guy. They put me on the news. They did a half-hour news special about the mob guy, and you know, and all this, you know. You know, I'm the advisor and counselor to the Casey family. You know what I mean? So it's a big deal in Vinton, Iowa, population.
Small town Iowa.
Yeah. So she's mesmerized by me. So I told her, I said, listen, I got somebody that's doing a couple of life sentences that can take this case for you. But you got to, you know, let me know, you know, you got to tell me the real deal, you know, so we can do it right. You know, it's just bullshitting her. And
now the bodies were buried, though. That's right. One key component we're leaving out.
Right. Right. So the bodies have been missing for like 10 or 13 years or something. This crime was an old one. And so they couldn't find the bodies, and they wanted to give these families, you know, peace of mind. And so when I was telling her, I need to know everything about, she sent me maps, sent me details of what everybody, what they were wearing. Like the little girls were wearing them onesie pajamas, where they had to feed them. And, she wrote all that down, wrote the maps, detail. They had stolen a backhoe and dug 2 big holes and buried some of them in one hole and another guy in another hole, But yeah, she gave me detailed maps. And
how many bodies was it?
5.
How many bodies?
5.
5 bodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and 3 of them were innocent. 3 of them were innocent. The mother and the mother and the 2 kids.
What was her reason? What was her reason for even doing this?
Her boyfriend got indicted for being a cook, and these 2 guys were going to testify against him. So they went to this house. This one dude, they went to the house. He just moved in there a week before, and he moved in with his girlfriend, this lady that he just met. He moved in with the lady, and she had these 2 kids, 6 and 9-year-old kids. Angie went to the door and knocked on it and said, "Avon, lady," right? Going to sell Avon. And so she opened the door up. Angie pulled a gun out, boom. And then the other dude came inside, and they tied them all up and, put a video camera in front of dude and told dude that, what to say, that you lied on this guy and that he never dealt drugs or cooked anything. And first he wouldn't do it and all that. And Angie snatched that little girl and broke her elbow. It was terrible. So, and this is all the feds are telling me all this, and they're showing me actual proof of it, and I'm sick to my stomach. I'm like, man, you mother. But anyway, so, she just told me all the shit, and that was it. When I got the maps, I called the lawyer, and then, and so, a couple of days later, I turned over the maps.
And so after you turn over the maps, you're not talking to them about giving you a deal at all yet.
Well, yeah, they wouldn't promise me nothing. I did talk to them. When I turned over the maps, I talked to the DA and to the FBI, and it wasn't the FBI, it was the DCI. It was a state case, but they had a federal prosecutor prosecute it in federal court. So it was all state police.
Now, how much time were you doing at this point?
Life.
You had life. You were never coming home.
No.
So this was like your get out of jail free card.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So after you give them the maps, how long until they find the bodies?
Oh, I think 3 days or 4 days.
Then they find the bodies. Do they come right to you and say, "We found the bodies"? And you're like, and are you still across from the woman?
No. That day, the day that I gave them the maps, they moved us both.
And was she like, "Where are we going? What's going on?"
Yeah.
She had no clue.
They said she tried to kill herself. The day that
at one point, wasn't she threatening you?
Oh, she was gonna kill, have people come and kill me and all that other. Man, I don't listen. They said that my life was in danger. They had 20 U.S. Marshals take me into court and all that. See, that's how the feds are. They're stupid, because he's like the one dude that they killed was from this town called Mason City. He was well liked by everybody in the town. He was a weed dealer and dealt weed to everybody in the. He's the number. He's the weed man for the town. It's a small town. And you grew up there. They loved him, and she was from out of town, and moves in and all that, and then ends up. They knew that she had killed him, and so she was in that. They burned her house down when she was there. They fucking chased her out of town twice. I mean, they'd shoot out her car windows.
So people were after her. It wasn't she could do anything.
Yeah, these dudes told me. They told me that if I ever went to Mason City, they'd have a fucking parade for me. So I mean, it's terrible. Listen, I cooperated, but I don't feel bad about it. One iota, it is what it is.
No.
And the people that were my friends in prison, and I did make some good friends. They're still my friends, and that's that. and don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck what any of these other people say. Like say I'm a rat. I don't give a fuck. I'm in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Come tell me I'm a rat. I don't care. Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Listen, man, you did a noble thing. Then people can.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to sleep at night. Hey, there's not one person in prison, right? In any federal or state prison because of me. All right, except that bitch. So her
she's still alive.
Yeah, she's still alive. So her co-defendant got the death penalty, right? He went to trial, but they had separate trials. I testified against her, but I never talked to that dude, met him before in my life, or nothing. So none of the information that I provided was allowed in his trial. So I never testified against him. She's the only person that I got on stand testified against.
And what was it like to go up there and testify against her?
I was nervous. I was like, because it's the biggest crime in Iowa, in Iowa history. I mean, it was like, it's the first female to get the death penalty in Iowa. And I mean, it was just it was a real big deal here. And so I was like nervous because there was all these people there. And so, but that was it. I mean, it was just nerves. And I just told them what happened. I said, listen, her lawyer's trying to get me to, well, why would you want to talk to her, when you're in, across the hallway? We think the police made you, they thought that the cops put me in that cell to try to elicit information. I said, so I finally just told the truth. I said, listen, I was trying to be polite because of all the people in here. I said, but I was in prison for 15 years, ain't had no pussy, and I wanted to see that and talk nasty to her. That's it. That's the truth. Yeah, I mean, I just, they're, the prosecutor's like this, shaking his head like this. But I mean, it's the truth, though. I mean, these people are crazy. They come up with these, these theories, and then they start to believe them. Like Sam, the followers of Sammy, he comes up with all this bullshit, and they believe it and want to, and he's Jesus.
I told the warden to let me out, and he listened.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's
Sammy.
That's how that happened. I mean, it is what it is. And
how much longer do you stay in prison after you testify against her? How much longer do you stay in prison? 14 more years.
Yeah, and I only needed two levels. I only needed 2 levels to take me down to where it's not a life sentence, and I would have got out right away. So all I needed was 2 levels. Now, anyone that cooperates, they automatically get 3 levels, right? So if you just go in and say, just give them some intelligence, in your plea agreement, you automatically get 3 points knocked off, right? So, they waited all these years, right, until all their appeals were done and all that shit before they would allow me to go and get a sentence reduction.
Why?
Which I thought
why'd they do that?
Because they wanted to keep me in prison for as long as they could. They didn't want to give me no deal.
Oh, so you still had the life sentence for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Before they would even do the deal, the resentencing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm Bobby McNeece, and I've killed people. I mean that. I'm a gangster, and I've got the mob bosses. I'm friends with all the mob bosses, and all this bullshit that they got coming out of their fucking. I mean, they've told some real doozies on me. And it's like I'm just like sitting there, like listening, like, are you fucking kidding me? You guys are. I mean, it just fascinates me. Fascinates me.
All right, so then they bring you into court and you get your sentence reduction. What's it like to leave prison after being in there for that long? And how long did you spend in prison?
I spent 27 years, and they made me take a Greyhound bus home. They wouldn't let nobody pick me up, and I didn't have anything. I'm not taking nothing. Only thing I had was my photos, from prison, and my toothbrush. I put that in my front pocket, but otherwise I had nothing. And I get off the bus, and I had to take a cab from the bus station to the halfway house. And I get to the halfway house, and they say, okay, you got 25 minutes from when you get off the bus. They have it all timed out and all this for you. And so, and I did everything legit. You know, a lot of guys would have their girls meet them at the bus station and ride in the car home. I didn't do nothing. I was scared to death. I didn't do none of that shit. You know what I mean? I just got on the bus like a good little boy and sat in the back and just, until I got home,
Yeah.
And went to the halfway house, and they said, do you have someone that you can call and get some, like, your cosmetics, some clothes, because we'll give you an hour pass to go to Walmart, which is like a few blocks from the halfway house. So I called and said someone picked me up, and we went to Walmart. And I went into Walmart and freaked the fuck out. I was in there 3 minutes and left. It's just everybody started walking towards me, and
you're like, nah, no.
It's like, I mean, I got all sweaty, and it's like, oh, hell no, man. I didn't know they're bumping into me, and and I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm ready to chop everybody's head off,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. And so I went back and got in the vehicle and just shut my eyes and just rocking back and forth, just shut my eyes and just like, and just tripping out. And then my friend came back and had some clothes and some cosmetics for me and stuff. And it took me, probably a good 2-3 weeks to feel more comfortable, and even to this day, like I don't go to any bars or I don't go where people are hanging out drinking or doing anything crazy, because I'm scared of it. One of them comes up, hey, what's up? Oh, you look like a little punk. You sitting in my, some stupid where, I mean, I'm going to crack the skull open with an axe handle if I need to. I mean, I don't want to do that. I'm going to crack someone for if I think someone's going to hit me. I mean, what are you going to do? I still got that prison mentality. It's just like,
got to get them first.
Yeah. I mean, that's just how I think, and I know it's not right to think like that, and I'm not a violent guy or none of that shit, but god damn, I don't want to get beat up, because that's what I started thinking. Oh man, is this guy wanting to do something? Man, I'm gonna have to get this motherfucker. But so I just avoid all that. Just avoid it all.
Are you off parole? You're off parole, probation, everything?
Yeah, I did 5 years. 5 years supervised release, and everything was cool. Never had no dirty.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Do you remember your last day on supervised release?
Yeah, I remember. I had to go to the U.S. probation department and sign some papers. I don't remember what the papers were, but I got a piece of paper from the director of the probation department or whatever from Washington D.C. saying that I've officially been, released from custody. So
feels good, right?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. And then that was it. I didn't have no party, or I just went back to work. I just, I didn't have nothing going on. It was a good feeling though.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you're doing great now, man, and I always like having you on.
All right, well, good deal. Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. You got you're getting big, man. From when I first met you and now you got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, things are looking pretty good.
Yeah, well,
just gonna keep grinding, man.
Yeah, one of these days you get down in the Midwest somewhere and maybe do a show live.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna come out there 2025. I'll be out there.
2025. Okay.
Yeah, next year. Couple weeks. Yeah. About 3 weeks.
Yeah,
but 3 weeks is 2025.
All right.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll have you on again. We'll do a live, and people can ask you questions.
Oh yeah. You ain't done asking me questions yet?
Nah, we got a lot more for you. It never ends. If you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this show, too bad, start your own podcast. Peace.